Welcome to the Nicholas 11x12 technology. Today we're looking at the Corsair Obsidian Series 900D Super Tower case. This is a huge case for big builds and projects. Yes, I know, I'm kinda late to reviewing the 900D because my favorite online shop could only get one just now. I'm not sponsored by Corsair and therefore I didn't get a review sample. But oh well, better late than never. Right here is the huge box. I can tell you, carrying this box up to my room wasn't funny. Well, it actually was, because I was very excited about that case. Here it is now. I didn't want to do the unboxing process in front of the camera, so yeah. With the case comes the quick start guide, but it doesn't really come with instructions on how to do things with this case. Now to the case. As you can see, there's lots of plastic protection on it to protect it from scratches while being shipped. I'll quickly remove it all. There we go, the Corsair 900D Super Tower, the new flagship model of the Obsidian series cases. I've never owned the 800D, but the difference in size is massive, I can tell you that. The 900D comes in a very clean, very simple, straightforward and elegant look. No weird shapes whatsoever. I really like the angular look here. To some people it may look like a box or a closet. But thanks to the simple look, the case design is pretty much timeless. So even after years, you'll probably still be thinking the case looks good. And for my personal taste, the design and the shape is one of the very best on the market anyways. Obviously there's a huge side panel window to really show off what you've got inside. The front bezel looks like brushed aluminum and the portion below actually is. On the top are lots of ventilation holes, mainly meant for water cooling. There's a dust filter below, to which we will get later in this review. The construction quality of the case seems to be very good and it's really durable, but also quite heavy with 18.6 kilograms or 41 pounds. That's the empty case alone, so if you need more muscles, then this case might even have a bonus here. Even at the back, there are lots and lots of ventilation holes. This is a case for extreme coolers. The other side of the case doesn't come with the side panel window, but let's be honest, that would look kinda weird anyways, especially if you want to hide the cables. Now that we've taken a first look at the case, let's quickly also take a look at the specifications. The Corsair Obsidian Series 900D is not a big or full tower case, but a super tower case. The dimensions are the following: 692 by 252 by 650 millimeters. These are 27.2 by 9.9 by 25.6 inches. The mini ATX, micro ATX, ATX, eATX, XL ATX and HPTX motherboard form factors are supported. This means you can pretty much install anything in there. The net weight of the case is 18.6 kilograms, that are 41 pounds. A total of 4 fans are pre-installed already. Now let's take a closer look at the case. In the front, the first bay can be opened. This rectangle here is the actual power button, which feels kinda cheap to be honest. To open a bay, you just push down on the marked square on the left to access the front panel. Once again, the power button up here, the microphone and headphone jacks, 2 USB 3.0 ports, the small reset button, and 4 USB 2.0 ports. To close the bay, just push it the way you did to open it. The side panel removal is very simple and fast. Just push the button in the back and the side panel will unlatch itself. More on the side panel a little bit later. First I'll show you how to take out the bay cover and how to install a 5¼ inch drive, in this case a DVD drive. Push the clips together inside and the bay cover should then unlatch itself. The cover is out of plastic by the way. Then push the DVD drive in there and it'll lock into place automatically with the help of the toolless design here. The removal is very simple as well. These are the latches that do the job for you. As you can see, there are plenty of 5¼ inch bays, 4 to be exact, which should be enough for the DVD drive, fan controllers and so on. The lower portion comes with the same brushed aluminum look and actually is out of metal. The removal is very simple and straightforward. Behind the metal cover is the dust filter, which can be cleaned easily by taking it out. just push on the marked squares, just like you did for the front panel cover, and there you have it. Behind the dust filter are 3 120mm intake fans that Corsair includes. These are AF120s. This also is one of the mounting points for up to a 360mm radiator here. On the back are 2 buttons. To remove the side panels, hold the button down and the side panel will unlatch itself. This is a good idea since it's fast and you don't need to unscrew any screws. The right side panel is not bad at all, but the left one is a little bit flimsy, but that's understandable due to the window inside. One thing I noticed here is that you can unscrew these screws here to easily replace the side panel window. But this case also comes with a bottom swing out door. To access the lower compartment, push down on the latch, pull, and then it'll release it from the magnets that hold the swing out door in place. On the panel itself is a magnetic dust filter that can be cleaned very easily. I'm glad Corsair uses magnetic dust filters on the side, since these don't rattle. As for fans, you can install up to 4 120mm fans here and up to 3 140mm fans. This also means you can install up to a 480mm radiator if you're using 120mm fans and up to a 420mm radiator if you're using 140mm fans. But you don't mount the radiators to the bottom swing out door itself. The case comes with these brackets that will hold the radiators in place. Closing the bottom door is very fast and pain-free. On the back of the case are lots of ventilation holes and I really like the new mesh design. Honeycomb holes are getting old now, so Corsair made a good decision here. Then there's a 140mm exhaust fan included already. However, you could also install a 120mm fan here, or when it comes to radiators, a 120mm or 140mm radiator. Right beside is the spot for the motherboard I/O backplate. Below are even more ventilation holes and 10 expansion slots. This means there are enough slots for every type of a motherboard, and extreme SLI or crossfire configurations will not be a problem here. Below is the PSU slot. On this case, however, you mount power supplies vertically. Oh, and instead of just one PSU slot, this case can hold up to 2 power supplies if you unscrew the cover here. Now let's take a look at the other side of the case. Once again, easy side panel removal, and just like on the main side, there's also the same bottom swing out door on this side of the case. It also comes with a magnetic dust filter and brackets for radiators. You can mount up to a 240mm radiator here if you're using 120mm fans, up to a 280mm radiator if you're using 140mm fans, and when moving your PSU up a slot and mounting the hard drive cages somewhere else, you'll be able to fit up to a 480mm radiator here as well. At default, 2 hard drive cages are mounted in the lower compartment of the case. Every cage can fit up to 3 drives. The left cage is hot swap compatible. The hot swap drive cage comes with all the cables and connectors attached for you already. This makes it hot swappable. All 3 trays will be powered with a single SATA power plug, so instead of 3, you only need to connect 1. And there are the SATA connections for the motherboard. It's all black, very nice. This is how the case looks like at default when the side panel on this side is removed, as well as the bottom door opened. There definitely is a lot you can do here when it comes to cable management and tucking away the cables. Just like the whole case, the front panel cables are black as well, and that's good. These are kept in place very nicely with these latches. Corsair also includes an ATX 12V extension cable here, just in case the cables of your PSU are too short and can't reach the top of the case. There are lots of rubber grommets for the holes that are clearly visible from the other side, and this makes the system look a lot tidier in the end. Up here and all around are more holes for the radiator fan cables, SATA cables from the 5¼ drives, and so on. The 900D also comes with cable management latches that are very easy to use and will definitely help with cable management. There's a large CPU cutout hole, so you don't need to take out your motherboard in order to install CPU cooler backplates. Below the motherboard tray are some big gaps, allowing you to route your power supply cables up through here behind the tray. How much space is there actually for cables? Well, as you can see, I can easily fit my hand in between there. Of course, I don't have the largest hands, but still, you see, you can fit a good amount of cables back behind there. Back there are the cables for the 3 included front intake fans. Unfortunately, Corsair doesn't include a fan splitter. This would have been another useful feature and would have made things even easier. Now on the other side of the case, with the bottom door opened and the side panel removed, you can now see the whole interior of the case. Once again, even on this side all the cables are completely black, and that's what I really expect to see at such price point. As you can see, there's lots of room for graphics cards, water cooling pumps and reservoirs, and all the different motherboard form factors are supported, such as mini ATX, micro ATX, standard ATX, eATX, XL ATX, as well as HPTX. I'm quite surprised to see all the required motherboard standoffs installed already, and they are all black. Removing hard drive cages is very easy by just unscrewing the screws on the other side that hold the cages in place. Each cage can hold up to 3 drives. Standard 3.5-inch drives as well as 2.5-inch drives are supported. Unfortunately, the plastic latches are not that good in terms of quality. If you want to, you could mount a 3rd hard drive cage up there just in case you need the space down there for radiators. This 900D obviously comes with 3 cages in total, but there's space for 5 in total. It would have been nice if Corsair included all cages. I'll just slide this cage in up there. But as you can see, you could now mount up to 2 more cages down there. The bottom cage is hot swap compatible, and therefore the 900D offers up to 3 hot swappable drives. This means you could just slide in a drive while the system is running and access data very quickly. However, this also needs to be configured in the motherboard BIOS. These plastic trays will support 2.5-inch drives like an SSD here in my case, as well as standard 3.5-inch drives. You just bend the tray a little and make the drive fit in. The rubber in between the tray and the drive itself should reduce vibration. Pushing a drive into the hot swap connections sometimes isn't that easy and requires some force. Same thing with pulling the drive out again. This would be a lot easier if the quality of the plastic latches were better. But before installing any hot swappable drives, there's an accessories box on the tray and the last cage. Inside this box there are cable ties, fan screws, short and long ones, motherboard or HDD screws, ODD or SSD screws, spacers, extra screws just in case you lose some of the case, and last but not least, an angled screwdriver to access the expansion slots easier. And that's what I'm talking about here. It's not too bad, I've seen worse, but it definitely can make the screwing processes more difficult even with the included angled screwdriver, but at least Corsair includes that. Now back to the bottom of the case, you see there are 2 supports for the power supplies, and once again this case can hold up to 2 PSUs just in case you want or need to run a dual PSU configuration. As I've mentioned before already, a 140mm exhaust fan is pre-installed already, but you could also install a 120mm fan right here or a 120mm or 140mm radiator. The whole top cover is full with ventilation holes with a dust filter underneath. I really like seeing that here. On the top you can mount up to 4 120mm fans, up to 3 140mm fans, and therefore 4 radiators, up to a 480mm radiator if you're using 120mm fans, and up to a 420mm radiator if you're using 140mm fans. But to be able to mount a radiator or fan up there, you first need to take off the top cover. This can be done like that by pressing a tab inside the case for the top cover, and it should then come off quite easily. You definitely have enough room to work on the radiators here. Putting the top cover back on unfortunately isn't that easy as it came off. Actually, it isn't hard to do, but what makes it harder is the fact that you need to press the cover down pretty much on each spot of the whole cover at the same time in order for it to correctly snap back into place. The bottom of the case is kept very simple since no special features are needed here. However, the whole case is raised about 2 to 3 centimeters. The construction is very durable, and on the feet are rubber feet. And I guess that's all I can say here about the features and possibilities. Now I've really taken my time assembling this rig. However, it was a lot of fun. It was very easy and fast compared to other cases I've had so far, and I'm really impressed on how much you can actually fit in there in this Corsair 900D case. I'm glad Corsair decided to go for a standard, very simple looking square side panel window, so you can really show off your components, if you need to of course. One thing that could have been designed a little bit better would be the front. The unused 5¼ bay covers don't seem to match the used bays in terms of the design. The brushed aluminum look gets lost here somehow. It's time to reveal the build. Now I gotta say, I've used a non-modular power supply here, but still, the whole build looks very clean here. There's so much free space available in this case, that's amazing. Although I have to admit, when buying such a case, you normally would install at least one 480mm or 420mm radiator. Now on the other side of the case you now see, I have lots and lots of cables behind there. I have to admit I could have done it better, but I was short on time and wanted to finish this build very quickly for this review. The conclusion. Well, the Corsair Obsidian Series 900D Super Tower case definitely is a good case. It's kinda pricey, but considering all the possibilities you get with that case, the price is okay. It can be compared against the competition, which in this case would be Cooler Master's Cosmos 2 Super Tower case. The Corsair 900D, however, comes with more features and possibilities overall. In the end, it's depending on what you need and which design you prefer more. I personally am always a big fan of angular, box-shaped cases, and Corsair really designed that case very nicely. The side panel window is also very nice to have compared to the Cosmos 2, which doesn't have one. So to make it short, the 900D in my opinion would be the perfect case for the absolute enthusiast. It looks great, is built very well, comes with lots of fan and radiator mounting points, can hold up to 2 power supplies, comes with good dust filters to keep the system as dust free as possible, and even cable management shouldn't be a problem. There's lots of space behind the motherboard tray for all the cables you want to hide. With this case you should be able to achieve a very clean looking full loaded system. Although I had to buy this case, I really like it a lot and don't regret it. Of course it's not the perfect case. For one, it comes with these cheap hard drive cage plastic latches, and then Corsair doesn't include some kind of fan splitter for the 4 pre-installed fans. That would have been very useful. While taking a look at the case, I noticed there pretty much is no real manual or instruction included on how to do certain things with the case. But overall I'm satisfied with the case, and it's really worth it for the enthusiast I believe, especially if you plan on going for some extreme custom water cooling. Pros are very elegant and beautiful design, good build quality. Then there are lots of fan/radiator mounting points. Also you have 2 vertical power supply mounting points. This case also comes with good dust filters and great cable management features. For the cons I have to say, the case comes with cheap hard drive cage plastic latches. Then there's no fan splitter included. And last but not least, Corsair doesn't include any real manuals or instructions. But still, in my opinion, the Corsair Obsidian Series 900D deserves an 8 out of 10, and I definitely recommend this Super Tower case. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and visit Nicholas11x12techx.com to see videos there earlier than on YouTube.